So look, there's a lot of ways to diversify the way you play a game. By doing it through your software, your hardware, it takes a little bit of skill and research and education that I put into and I've been using for a while, and I feel like it's time for me to share it with everybody else. The reason why I had to do this initially is because Best Buy sold me a $1,000 laptop that was supposed to have a 2060 in it. I always had that decision between that and a 1070, which would have had 6 GB of RAM. And so I was really upset that I found that they lied to me, and there was no information that I could have read myself before buying it, and it doesn't have those specs, and so that was really frustrating. And from there, in that point, I had to learn a lot about GPUs and CPUs, which I already knew a lot about the central processing unit, but the graphics processing unit was something that I really wasn't into, and that limits your ability. And as a streamer, coming back into streaming and not being able to perform even with the things that I've done in the way that I used to, I get your frustration out there now. I understand it. I should have made this video a long time ago. And running, just OBS, for example, the open broadcasting software by Streams Labs, it's been revisioned just to make this video as a recording, not even a live video where you're actually processing data twice, once to record it and store it, and the second time so you can upload it. My mouse is acting weird. That's crazy. So I'm at 11 or 12% CPU usage. My memory is at 21%. I got 16 gigabytes of memory, and I'm literally only running that. That's just insane. My CPU is actually really low because I activated my redundant cores. Activating my redundant cores really helped me out a lot. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that first. Okay, so we're going to hit msconfig. And then we're going to go to system configuration. We're going to boot advanced options, and then the number of logical processors we're going to use is going to be set to 12, right? The memory right here, maximum memory, should be set to whatever the exact megabytes you have. The exact megabytes that you have in, so the exact gigabytes divided down to megabytes or multiplied by megabytes. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Just type in INFO. And we'll do the math equation right here so I can show you with mine. It's 16 gigabytes, right? So I go ahead, system information, and then I look at the installed physical memory or RAM. This is the sticks that you have inserts into your either laptop or desktop, right? So if I take a calculator and I times 16 gigabytes by the exact amount of megabytes inside of gigabyte, it gives me the total amount of megabytes, which should be the exact same number I have there in my memory section. And if you don't have that in yours, then you're going to have a lot of issues. So 16 times 1024 should be something like, I think, 16,384. Yeah, so that's right. Okay, so now we're going to take this number and compare it to what we have here in the boot advanced options, 16,384. Now I'm gonna hit OK right here. Boom. And then I'm gonna hit apply. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm gonna hit restart. Now if you missed the step, it was msconfig, right? And it pulled this up. Now it's already up, so it doesn't really matter. I can't shut that out. If you have anything running like I have Streamlabs running now, you need to shut it down first, especially if you're trying to do a video. That way you can save the video or corrupt your video. So I'm going to do that, restart it, and finish the video. Alright, so to finish the video up, I realized a couple things just watching the video I created. Number one, when I ran Task Manager, you couldn't really see it very well. So let me try to zoom in on those. And then number two, just going back through msconfig, I'll do that one more time. So I expand this a little bit, and then the installed physical memory, 24%. We're still running that same thing because that's exactly what I had it set to last time. The reason why it's at 24% total random access memory that's being used, or RAM, is because we have so many other applications running in the background. And so that was actually going to be one of the next videos that you're going to see coming out, or that will be in the description with the link, because I'm going to make them all tonight. These are very simple for me because I've done them so many times. But the one thing you're going to notice about the videos that I'm going to give you is it's going to create system instability. It's going to make the best of what you have, but only for a very limited time. So this one says very high, OBS 64. It's taking out a lot of my power usage. It is one of the most powerful recording software is just for your average streamer that you can use. And so this isn't going to be the best for you. There actually is other better options out there, like I don't want to suggest any, honestly, because none of them are really going to be good to run as a player. Especially like if you're already having issues just with playing the game, then you add streaming on top of that, it really sucks. And so I'm having issues just playing the game, and I'm trying to do both, and I'm barely getting by. But I mean, if you're just playing, like, you're going to go in and smacking kids, like double your performances. It'll help a lot. And the other thing I was going to go over is in the system configuration, you will see, I'm sorry, not this one. But let me show you how to get to there. So you can't really see what I'm typing here. I just realized that. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up my 3D Paint software so I can type it super huge. Whoops. Let's go to a text, pull up 3D text. And so it's just typing in MS config. There we go. MS config. So real big letters, that way you guys can see it, and it doesn't have to be capitalized, it can be all lowercase. MS config. So you're typing that into the search bar. Once you do, you should see first the boots section that you need to click on right here, and then advanced options, which pulls up boot advanced options, and it's set at default, right, maximum memory. If I turn this off, it's going to be automatic, right? And so I can do it automatically, or I can set maximum memory to 16,384. It's up to you guys. And so I'm not going to get too much into this until another video that I'm going to release is released. But I'm going to cancel that out, and then I'm going to hit don't save. So we're at very high, once again, and just running OBS. But there's a lot of other things in here, and I'm going to show you guys how to reduce system latency in general. So in gaming, you have a lot of things to worry about. And I'll just type them in here again, just so you guys can see it, and it's just a little bit easier. So number one thing you have to worry about is your ping latency. Oops. P-I-N-G latency. I'm super bad at typing. Latency. Okay, so ping latency, which I didn't even make that 3D, dang it. Ping latency is something that is going to determine the speed, or is going to be used. It is the measurement of speed when it comes to networking. So a lot of ISPs will say that, you'll get 400 megabytes per second down. Well, we just did a math equation with data, right? We went to our system info, and then in the, not configuration info. We went to system info, and we pulled up the total amount of RAM. Okay, and in the total amount of RAM, we broke that down into megabytes. There's 1,024 megabytes in a gigabyte. A lot of people might say that it's 1,000, but that's because they are mathematically incorrect. It's not. It's just they say 1,000 to make it easier on people to do math with, because when you get into thousands, it seems harder to do math with, I guess, whatever. Ping latency. This is not megabytes per second, and it can be affected by that, and so therefore people get it confused with the speed of, megabytes per second being the speed of your internet, but that's not at all how it is. If you get 100 megabytes per second down, 10 megabytes per second up with your internet service provider, and I get 2 megabytes per second up and maybe 20 down, right? I can still have a much faster ping latency than you, especially if I'm running fiber optics and you're running coax, or if I'm running fiber optics and you're running what is it? I can't even think of the name for it. Dial-up. There's another one out there. It's broadband connection, or 5G, which is basically just the new technology in the way that they're not only distributing the information to the cell phones or cellular devices, but also on top of that, what is it that's being used to distribute that data, being fiber optics instead of coax. And so there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of things to learn. And so if you need to learn them, let me know in the comments below something that you're having problems with, or if you have any questions about reducing ping latency, system latency, pooling rate, or it's the milliseconds in response time that you get from pressing a button on your joystick. Whatever it is, I've went dug deep into the internet to find it, and so I hope you guys enjoy the videos, and I hope these redundant cores that are activated are something that are going to benefit you. Let me know in the comments below if they don't, and I would like to ensure that we've got this done right. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow is the last thing that I'm going to say before I get off of here. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask me about this in the podcast. So there's going to be gamers, streamers, whoever. I invited everybody. And there's only 5 spots open, but you can talk to me via Discord because at the moment I don't have a phone that's running. Like it says it's got some moisture issue in my Note 9, which I've fixed twice, and now it's like it's not letting me fix it. But anyways, if the live event, let me go right here. This is going to give you an opportunity to ask questions about whatever. And if you are a streamer and you have any advice or you disagree with me, it doesn't matter what it is. You can hop on there. And it's kind of like a random podcast with anybody that wants to hop in, right? So my live event is going to have the link right here, which I'm going to copy, right? And this is what you should see or you should be looking for is that thumbnail, which I'm just going to show you here. It says join our Discord voice channel and chat. Topics in this podcast streaming are mainly focused on providing inside opinions and some other things to like gaming, streaming, blah, blah, blah. But that's what you should see pop up. And so let me go to the thumbnail. You can see that boldly, and I'm going to talk about how other videos I want to make. If anybody has any questions, let me know in the comments below. Again, how to make the thumbnails correctly or easy, and how to integrate them into your website if you have a website like I do, or what controller software to use to connect to your PC. Like there's an abundant amount of things that I have learned and used to ensure that just because I can't play the best because of my hardware limitations, that I am going to, that doesn't mean that I'm going to like just lay it down. Like I'm going to do everything I can to diversify, what I have and utilize that to dominate the industry, because I never take competition lightly, and I don't stop because I've lost. And I know, like, my streams haven't displayed the same thing that my, pre-recorded videos have displayed, but that's just because if you have hardware that's limited and then you use something to record on top of that, that means your gameplay is limited. Even just recording, think about streaming on top of that. You're not just saving the data, now you're saving the data and then utilizing that to filter back into another program and then turn into a bit, or what's called a bit rate, that is sent, via data over a internet connection from your router to various access points along the way to the initial server that it's being uploaded to, like YouTube, and you're trying to upload the data from your video game and not only a bit rate that is going to match what their servers request, and ensure that you don't have any, like, what's called packet loss, where you're not registering your shots and stuff like that. So it's got to go smoothly, but it's got to go fast and have a super low ping latency, which varies in milliseconds based on, again, the access points in between the router and server. In my case, I don't even have a router. All the internet is routed through a domain name server. So that's another thing that I give information about. Because with your router, essentially, it's going to be set up by default to have your internet service provider, your ISP, whether that's Cox or AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, whoever, right? It's going to have them routing data. And so, I'm sorry, I meant to pull up this right here. Open internet and network settings. So I'm going to go over this very briefly because there's some private information I don't want to show, and I don't want to have to edit this video too much. So view your network properties, I believe it is. Yes. No, I don't want to go there. I want to go to change. It's usually here somewhere real close. Change connection properties. And then edit right here. So this is automatic DHCP, domain host control protocol. The domain host that you're running off of is your ISP. And so there is a IPv4 address, there is a IPv4 DNS server, there is a primary DNS, there's manufacturer, right? All this stuff, right? If you want to do it like manually, then you need to understand like what you can put in place of these IPv4 DNS servers, because your router may act as its own DNS server or domain name server and be able to route your data faster and more efficiently, providing better and more open capabilities, like talking to your friends more clearly or joining other people's parties who you weren't able to join before. And so there's just, I mean, I could go on and on for days. So ensure that if you really are serious about gaming, you want to do your best, check out the videos in the description below. I hope this works for you. And once again, I'm always in the comments below. So hit me up and have a good day. I'm out.